Welcome to the Making Inferences video. Inferences are conclusions based on evidence and reasoning. Basically, it's just making an educated guess. There are some steps to making an inference. First of all, look at the details in the text, and then use your prior knowledge and your common sense.
Let's try one. Recent studies on access to MOOCs, massive open online courses, have shown that these types of courses are reaching many parts of the globe. However, large areas of developing countries remain unreached by MOOCs. Violent crime is also higher in these areas. Internet connectivity is limited, especially access to broadband connections in these regions. Which of these inferences is supported by this passage? 1. Those without access to education are more prone to violence. 2. Access to MOOCs is reduced when internet connectivity is reduced. 3. MOOCs are inaccessible to those in developing countries. Or 4. Access to MOOCs may reduce violent crime. Let's look at our choices. Sentence 1 connects lack of access to education and violence. Although the passage does say that areas unreached by MOOCs have higher rates of violent crime, there is no evidence in the passage that these two are related. Sentence 3 makes a broad statement. MOOCs are not accessible to people in developing countries. Although the passage says that large areas of developing countries are unreached by MOOCs, it does not state that all areas of developing countries are without MOOC access. So this is not the right answer choice. Sentence 4, like sentence 1, makes a connection that is unsupported by the passage. Sentence 2 is supported by both the passage and by our common sense. Because these courses are online, those without internet cannot participate in them. Now you try one. Middle-aged adults who attempt to go back to school and to complete a degree program often find themselves struggling to balance the demands of school, work, and family life. Sometimes older students find themselves caring for both their children and their aging parents. Many older students would advise younger students to stay in school and complete their degrees earlier in life. Which of these inferences is supported by the passage? 1. It is harder for older students to go to school than it is for younger students. 2. Middle-aged students may be distracted from their studies by caring for children and parents. 3. Younger students should always stay in school and complete their degrees. Or 4. Middle-aged students usually do not do as well in school as younger students. Stop the video here and restart when you think you know the answer. The answer is sentence 2. Sentence 1 is not correct because the passage does not mention younger students and the challenges they may face, nor does it compare the challenges faced by the two groups. Sentence 3 is an opinion that does not allow for exceptions. Avoid answers with the words always or never. Sentence 4 is not true, nor is it supported by the passage. Sentence 2 is supported by the passage and by common sense. Want more practice? Check out our resources folder in the MOOC. Thank you for completing the Making Inferences practice video.